Hello, this is a video about hiking Tiger Leaping Gorge in China. I will give you tips about doing a 1, 2 or 3 day hike. I did a 2-day hike in February 2017, so I can give you some fresh information about what it's like. Okay, so Tiger Leaping Gorge, it's a river gorge in South China in Yunnan province. It is one of the deepest river gorges in the world. It's almost 4,000 meters from river to mountain peak. It's a beautiful gorge and I really recommend it. I recommend you take your time if you have it. If you have time, do 2 or 3 day hike. If you don't have time, you can do it in 1 day. It will be exhausting, but you can do it in 1 day. So there are 2 paths. There's the high path, which is 22 kilometers long, and there's the low path, which is approximately 16 kilometers. I took the high path, and it's basically halfway up the mountains, up the gorge, and you go through a bit of woodland, you go through some grassland, you go through 1 or 2 villages. It's beautiful, really, really beautiful. On the first day, I walked 2/3 of the trail, stayed at a hostel called Halfway, and then the second day I did a little bit more, just the last couple of hours of hiking. So day 1 was approximately 7 hours of hiking. That included 1 hour of breaks, and we took our time. Me and my friend, we took our time, we took lots of photos, we were not rushing. And we got to 2/3 of the way along the trail. Second day, we didn't have a lot of hiking left, maybe 2.5 hours of hiking, and maybe about half an hour we took off breaks. The second day was a little bit more technical though. The first day was you ascend, you go up, which took about 2 hours, and then you just walk straight the rest of the way. The ascend was fine. It's actually called the 28 bends, and I think it sounds a lot more scary than it is. So basically you just walk up 28 zigzags to get to the top, but it's not that tiring. If you want, you can hire a donkey and the donkey will take you, but I don't think it's that tiring. So yeah, day 1 was just distance. Day 1 just made my body ache, but otherwise it was easy. Day 2 actually was a little bit tricky. Even though it was very short, there were 2 waterfalls we had to cross. Now luckily we went in winter and there was no rainfall, so the waterfalls were very small. But neither me or my buddy wanted to get our shoes wet, so that's when it became technical. We had to place our feet very carefully and take our time crossing the waterfalls. I think in wet season, you would just have to get your shoes wet. I can't imagine crossing those waterfalls when they had more water. In fact, you might not even be able to do that path in wet season. So double check what time of year you're going. That will determine which path you should take for safety. So yeah, the high path, lovely, really recommend it. There's also the low path. The low path is along the road. I don't recommend it because I think the road is very busy. There's a lot of traffic, so you get a lot of dust in your face, but the views are beautiful. I spent 3 days at the gorge, 2 days hiking, and on my 3rd day I did a little bit of hiking along the road, the low path, and it was beautiful. You do see some beautiful views. You see the river a lot more, but cars keep passing you and honking their horn. I wouldn't want to listen to that personally for 2 days, but it's up to you. Now, doing the hike in 1 day. You could do the high path in 1 day. You would need to start early, maybe 9:30 a.m. when the bus from Lijiang drops you off at the hiking trail, and just keep walking. You would have to bomb it. You'd really have to keep walking fast to get to the end by sunset. It would be possible. I just don't think you'd enjoy it as much. The views, you wouldn't be taking them in so much, but if you want, you could do it. 3 days. Now I met somebody called Jane, really lovely lady, who did the hike in 3 days, and I think that was a great idea. So Jane ascended, she did the 28 bends, she did a little bit more, and then she stopped and stayed overnight at a place called Naxi House. Then she, on day 2, walked from Naxi House to Halfway Hostel. And then day 3, she walked Halfway Hostel to the end of the trail. And I think that was a great idea. I think you really get to appreciate the beauty of the scenery. And it's basically just gorgeous. You do want to just sit and stare at the gorge for as long as possible. So I recommend that. Now, other tips. We went in February, it was cold at night. So bring your thermals. In the daytime, it was cold until about 11 or 12 when the sun would rise above the mountain peak. Then the gorge would receive sunlight and get warm. So in the morning, we had our coats on, our jumpers, our hats on, and then by 11, 12, we could take these items off. And in fact, we had to apply sun hat, sun cream, sunglasses. Other tips, I recommend Halfway Hostel, great, had all the facilities, had nice views, had nice food. I also recommend Tina's Guest House at the end of the both hiking paths. I think Tina's has a bad reputation online, some negative reviews, but they're old reviews. Tina's Guest House had Wi-Fi, the prices were competitive, the same as other hostels in the area. So I recommend Tina's. I also recommend Bridge Cafe, which is around the corner. When you finish the hiking trail, just bear left and go over the bridge, and around the corner you'll see the Bridge Cafe, and they do yak cheese dumplings and Yunnan cheese dumplings. Oh, amazing, and they serve them with honey. And then further on, maybe a 45-minute walk, if you keep going left along the road, you will find Tibet House, and they do delicious yak milk tea. I recommend that. So like I said, I spent a third day on the lower path, just walking either side of Tina's Guest House, and the views are phenomenal. The views from Bridge Cafe is perched on the side, and it has a wonderful view all the way down the gorge. So try and visit Bridge Cafe just for the view alone, it's phenomenal. Now, as for visiting the river, you can go right down to the river. The high path and the low path do not give you access to the river. You're not that close. If you want to get to the river, you have to take a path. Now, you have to pay to go down the path. There's a local resident standing at the top of the path, and they charge, I think, 15 kwai. I didn't do it because I was too lazy. It takes half an hour to get down and takes 2 hours to get up. It's basically a lot of steps. And the heat is so intense. Even in February, I wasn't interested. But you can go to the river and the very bottom of the gorge, and you can see the stone where the tiger leapt from one side of the river to the other. Instead, what I did is I just walked further down the lower path, and then you can just get really nice views of the river, and there is a platform. There's another path down to the river, but I just went halfway to the halfway viewpoint. So they're all my tips. I don't have anything else to say. Enjoy yourself. It's a really, 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 really nice hike. Take your time. If you can, I'd say do it in 3 days. And then even consider spending a 4th day just at the end of the path.